For the Liberty and Economics Review and libertyandeconomics.com. I'm Nick Sorrentino. So I just had the pleasure of watching our esteemed president, Barack Obama, address a joint session of Congress at the State of the Union address. I must say the speech was generally, it was pretty good. Um, but, a few things struck me. One was, it was obvious, it had been reined in, clearly, because of the election in Massachusetts. I sense that he senses, and the Democrats sense in general, and his administration definitely senses that, the electorate ain't happy. And they're not happy with the Democrats right now. And that's why, as we've talked about before, he's running to this whole kind of the banks are evil thing. And he may end up throwing Geithner under the bus. Um, you know, Speaking of which, I saw a little flash to Geithner, and he didn't. His tie was slightly askew, so you could see his little button there, and his wig didn't look as good as usual. And I'll tell you, he just did not project the image that a Treasury Secretary should project, especially having been hammered by Congress in the past 24 hours. But maybe that's why he looked so disheveled and just kind of, frankly, kind of out of sorts. He just didn't look himself. He didn't look sharp. Um, but anyway, so what Obama, a couple of points. He said, "Oh, well, we're going to be completely out of Iraq." Okay, well, we'll see. I mean, what does that mean exactly? Does that mean that Blackwater's completely out of Iraq? I'll bet not. Um, Also, he called for an end to "Don't Ask, Don't Tell," which was kind of like his bone to the liberals because um, undoubtedly, some liberals were probably not happy with the speech, but it was a politically pragmatic speech. He couldn't come out with both guns, blazing, saying, he wanted to. This was supposed to be his victory lap on health insurance and comprehensive health insurance reform, but it didn't happen. And he's essentially like any good poker player, just he's kind of laying his hand down right now. And there are a lot of people who want him to play that hand no matter what. Well, I mean, to his credit, he's not playing it. Um, Live to fight another day. But anyway, a couple other things. Uh, Biden, man, look at that guy. I mean, he just smiled the whole time. I mean, he's got this big smile. I mean, I don't know if those are dentures or caps or what. I mean, he's got these big white teeth. I mean, he looks like the Cheshire Cat. But my bet is that he's no fun to work for. And the same could probably be said for Pelosi, who is on the right of, oh, well, about the only time she's on um, the right of Obama. Uh, she's got that kind of weird smile going, but I mean, she looked good and Botoxed up. I mean, she has the smoothest skin of any 85-year-old woman I have ever seen. Um, Thankfully there were no moments from the Republicans, where nobody didn't yell out "you lie" or anything like that. It was basically a pretty, nothing huge happened in this speech. But except for the fact that it was pretty clear that the Democrats were making a tactical retreat, or at least the Obama administration was. So, till next time. Oh, and you know what? I just have to say, they chose my governor, Governor McDonnell, to give the um, post State of the Union address. And this wasn't always the case. You didn't always have for Republican, there was a Republican president. Now there's always a Democrat who kind of addresses the points that the president said. Or vice versa. I think this quote unquote tradition. I mean, really, I think it's only about 15 years old, if that. It really stinks because I mean, what if you had, say, a small minority of libertarians in Congress, say 10 libertarians? So what? They don't get a response. But anyway, so really, this time Till next time.